Today on Talk Fulton, tackling the gang issue in the county. We'll hear how the Fulton County District Attorney's Office is on the case. And Fulton's information technology team joins that fight. It's helping law enforcement identify gang members by their markings. I'm Lynn Vaughn, and Talk Fulton starts right now. Hello everyone, we're talking today about the major initiative underway to address the gang issues in the county. The Fulton County District Attorney hosted a community summit with law enforcement, residents, and even some former gang members with the hopes of starting a new kind of dialogue to deal with this old issue. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has more.
Increasing gangs is impacting the court system, schools, and tax dollars. This gang summit was a way to give information to the community and brainstorm about solutions. It's a growing problem in our county.
To be honest with you, gangs are formed every single day in our community.
But it's something residents want and can do something about.
Kids join gangs because they want a sense of belonging or want to be a part of something. And the main focus is how can we prevent that? How can we encourage kids to get the help that they need so that way we can really get them to be part of the community in a productive manner.
The Fulton County District Attorney and others spoke at the Community Gang Prevention Summit at Atlanta Metropolitan State College. They said in the last 5 years, the U.S. has seen 8% more gangs.
Gang activity is on the rise in our community, but not only is it on the rise, but it's at a much greater pace than what is being viewed in the other communities.
They also explained how gangs cost the education system more money because of extra security and staff needed.
Gangs cause unnecessary disruptions. So the students who show up ready to learn have to often wait until the disruptions have been addressed by the teachers.
Young people that deal with abuse, homelessness, or lack of involvement in positive activities are most at risk of joining a gang. The community was so concerned about the rise in gang activity that they pushed to have the second gang summit meeting in a couple of weeks as opposed to later this year. Now that meeting will focus on solutions. Reporting from the Fulton County Courthouse, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
And here with us to talk about this hot topic is Gabe Banks. He's a Deputy Assistant District Attorney in the Fulton DA's office, and he heads up the gang unit. Welcome to Talk Fulton, Gabe.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, the Atlanta Police Department is tracking some 122 active criminal street gangs, and many of them are the subject of violent cases in the DA's office. What's your unit seeing in terms of gang activity?
That's a great question. Thanks again for having me. Look, I see three really important things that are going on from a prosecutorial perspective. We are actually seeing an increase in gang activity. In 2007, when we formed our gang unit, we went from one case charging about 10 gang members with 8 murders that occurred over a 2-year period. Now we have prosecuted over 300 or 400 gang members, or 300 or 400 gangs and 300 or 400 gang members. And so there has been a significant increase in gang activity here in Fulton County.
Can you tell us, Gabe, what accounts for that increase? Where's this coming from?
Well, I think it's a variety of issues. One, there's a lack of education that's going on. Many of our gang members don't complete high school. They drop out sometimes in middle school, sometimes as early as the 10th grade. There are a lot of familial issues that are going on. So it's no one issue that can be pointed to say, hey, this is the exact problem. I think there are a variety of issues that are going on here in our county with our kids that cause them to join gangs and commit gang activity.
So clearly there was a reason with such an increase to host a summit like the one that was held. Who participated given the fact that this is a metro area-wide issue, not just a Fulton issue?
Sure, we were really excited about the turnout. Over about 100 people showed up and participated in this summit. We had individuals such as elected officials, but more importantly, we had members of the community. We had concerned citizens. We had members of the clergy, both men and women. We also had various organizations that represent youth in our community who participated and in the program. And we also had former gang members that came and talked about their personal testimonies and how they were able to get out of the gang, but the dangers and the perils of the gang activity while they were in that gang as well. So it was a great turnout, and it informed the community about what's actually going on in our county about gang and gang activity.
Well, I'm interested in the conversations of two of those groups. First of all, what did the residents have to say? And then what did the former gang members, what did you learn from the former gang members?
Sure. As it relates to the residents, one of the great things that I was excited about to hear was the fact that after the summit was over, they immediately asked that we hold another summit. And this is very, very important because our community is now acknowledging that there is in fact a gang problem. As you know, Lynn, we can't prosecute our way out of this.
Right.
And when I say this, I mean the gang problem or any criminal justice system problem. We can't prosecute our way out of it. And so it's very important to get the community involved. It's very important to partner with organizations and agencies that exist within our community. And so when our community comes and tells us that they have acknowledged that we have a gang problem, I think that that is the first step. As it relates to the gang members, of course, this gang member, I believe his name was Hugo Rocha. And he actually came and shared his personal story, how he became involved in a gang, how he was shot 6 times,
Wow.
and how he actually stayed in the hospital for approximately 9 months. I think he was he was in a coma for over 3 days. And one of the things that caused the light to turn off for him or to turn on for him was the fact that when he got out of the coma and he spent 9 months in the hospital, he would look at his hospital door and realize, or at least want, many of his fellow gang members to come visit him. Not a single gang member over the 9 months that he was in the hospital came to visit him, and he realized that he was in the wrong business and that he actually needed to make a change in life. And so his testimony was very strong, and it was important to hear how he has made that change in his life.
One of the other things that seems to have happened with these crimes is we've gone from burglaries where people weren't home to the scary, scary tactic now of breaking into homes while people are there and doing that intentionally. What is that about? Help us understand that.
Well, I think these gangs, a lot of times gangs are all about their reputation. And the more they commit crimes, the greater their reputation is in the community, and it's all about respect. And so when you get gangs that are involved in criminal activity, and when they actually start to increase their violent activity, their reputation within the gang actually increases. And so we see gang members starting to commit more serious crimes in order to increase their reputation within the criminal street gang that they are a member of.
And it's not because people are needing what they're taking. The material goods don't seem to matter. It seems to be more about the reputation and the machismo of it all.
Well, I think that's certainly the primary reason why they do it. I mean, we can't escape the fact that gang members, they have families, they have to eat too, and so they're going to resort to criminal activity in order to actually feed their families and participate in this system.
Well, I'd like to know what it is that parents should be on the lookout for. If they suspected that a child, how can they tell if a child or a young person is interested in gang activity?
Sure. I think the most important thing that parents can do is to really continue to pay attention to their children's activity. So, for example, if there is a decrease in the actual interest in school activity, I think that that can be a tall tale sign that this kid may be involved in gang activity. If a kid actually becomes fixated or fascinated with a particular color, like the color red, I think that is also a sign that this individual is involved in gang activity. Parents need to keep an account of who their kids hang out with. I mean, if they're hanging out with individuals that the parents don't know, it's important that the parents pay attention to that, because those individuals may also be involved in gang activity. And that's one of the alarming things that we've seen across the board, is not only is gang activity occurring outside of the schools, but we have actually seen gang activity occurring inside of the schools as well. And so, and that is as early as elementary school. We get reports from many of our school resource officers where many of the kids are showing up in gang paraphernalia. May not be committing a crime, so to speak, but wearing the colors, wearing the gang insignia. And so parents need to pay particular attention to what their kids are wearing, who they're hanging out with, and whether or not there's actually a change in behavior in their kid.
Okay. Well, without giving away any of your secrets, what's the DA's strategy here?
Well, I think the most important strategy is to continue to get the community involved and to continue to partner with agencies that are interested in saving our youth. I remember I mentor a kid who's 14 years old, and he's a gang member. I actually prosecuted his uncle for murder, and I asked him if he saw anything, if he saw himself doing anything differently than his uncle, who is now serving 2 life sentences. And this kid, who's 14 years old, it broke my heart, actually said to me, "I don't see myself doing anything differently than my uncle." And so what that meant to me, while I thought about his family and how that might be dysfunctional, it was really a scathing indictment against any church, any community leader, any mosque, any synagogue, and as well as the DA's office, because when a 14-year-old kid is walking around the streets without vision and purpose, we as a community have to be responsible for that, so that we can take our kids back from the streets and hopefully make Fulton County a safer place.
And quickly, Gabe, any final thoughts?
Look, let's just come together and try to solve this problem. We can't prosecute our way out of it. The DA's office needs your help as community partners so that we can save our kids.
All righty. Thank you so much, Deputy District Attorney Gabe Banks. We appreciate so much your joining us today. Great information as always. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when we come back, we will tell you how Fulton's information technology team has gotten involved in the gang issue. We'll be right back. And welcome back to Talk Fulton, talking today about the steps the county is taking to tackle the issue of gangs in Fulton County. Now, as you can imagine, it takes an entire organization to address this problem. It's plaguing several communities in this largest county in the state. And with us today to talk about this aspect of the problem is Lawrence Lyle. He's a systems project manager with Fulton's Information Technology Department. Welcome, Mr. Lyle, to Talk Fulton.
Hi, please call me Larry.
Okay, Larry. Listen, I bet there are viewers out there who are thinking gangs and IT. What could possibly be the connection? So tell us, what is the connection?
Well, there's technology out there that was created by Formulalytics that was innovative, that has an innovative platform to support the Georgia gang statutes against gangs and gang violence and gang activity throughout Georgia. It's been proven over the years with the Atlanta Police Department and across jurisdictional boundaries. It's a platform technology that's going to help cities and major jurisdictions collaborate.
Well, tell us exactly what does this software do? Well,
the software, it will be a tool that will enable, for example, a public safety officer to make inquiries on a database actually existing in on our infrastructure. That will allow them to find information about gang members across jurisdictions. For example, a Fulton County officer may go into the system and find out that a person they've arrested is a gang member and associated with a gang in for example, the city of Atlanta. It'll bring up information about that gang, tattoos, marks, and even some geographical locations of the gang activities.
That sounds absolutely groundbreaking. Which agencies are using this technology?
Right now, we've implemented the technology in the Fulton County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, and the District Attorney.
And so the three of them are working together to find these folks and track them down.
Yeah, there are tools that are provided to each one of the departments to help them deal with, well, first the Georgia gang statutes and for arrests and information about people, for example, in the jails that may have gang activities from the Sheriff's Department.
So tell us, what was your role as a project manager with this? Does it have a secret code name like Operation Get the Gangs or something like that?
No, the code name is simply gang formulatics.
Okay, and what was your role as project manager?
Interestingly enough, as a project manager, I created a project plan and associated tasks and timeframes with those tasks to implement ultimately the formulaic system. As a project manager, we had some things we had to make sure we coordinated between the vendor, Formulatics, IT, and the Public Safety Department. One of the keys to the implementing this as a project manager is make sure we have good communication between the three entities. And we also facilitated some regular status meetings to make sure that everyone was on the same page and make sure the training went off successfully for our three users.
Well, when was this software implemented? This is, of course, outside of our department. It's something we have become aware of and are using to our interests.
Correct. We first started implementing this with the police department in late July of last year, and we completed implementation with the police department in early September. We actually implemented the sheriff and the DA at the same time from early October to about mid-November when we completed the sheriff's implementation.
Okay, well, how does this software bring, well, actually, I want to know if this is the first time or is it new to have IT involved in the law enforcement aspect in the criminal justice system?
Not exactly. You know, there were other entities, IT entities like NCIC, GCIC, other
Yes.
IT entities that help with the law enforcement. But this will be a platform/database that will help jurisdictions collaborate on gang activity across the state of Georgia.
This sounds like something very exciting. Is IT excited about this, getting involved, getting to be one of the crime fighters?
It was exciting as the project man, knowing that you were making a difference in the community in terms of fighting crime and help with the Georgia statutes, help the district attorney with his conviction rate, and help police protection of the community at large against gang violence and gang activities.
I'm joking about it lightly. I'm taking it a little bit lightly, but of course, gang activity in the county is no joke. Do you have any final thoughts on your involvement in this project?
Well, Formulatics is a good platform for Fulton County to really improve the quality of life for its citizens. IT is glad to be involved with implementing this project. It was interesting, and most of all, you felt like you were contributing as an information technology project manager in, as I said earlier, the quality of life for Fulton County residents. The platform is going to be there to help the police department, the sheriff's department, and the district attorney. So yeah, we had a good collaboration with the public safety departments and the vendor in making sure that this platform is there to support law enforcement.
Well, Larry Lyle, thank you so much. Anything you can do to get these young hoodlums off the street, we appreciate.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Larry Lyle is Systems Project Manager with Fulton's IT Department. Great information. Thanks again for joining us. And that that does it for this edition of Talk Fulton. A special thanks to Deputy District Attorney Gabe Banks and also to Systems Project Manager Larry Lyle with our Information Technology Department. And a special thanks to you for watching. We invite you to email us to let us know which topics you'd like to see addressed on Talk Fulton. Email us at fgtv.feedback@fultoncountyga.gov. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Lynn Vaughn. We'll see you next time.